He was just the janitor everyone ignored, until one morning, the female general froze mid-speech because the janitor corrected her in 9 different languages. What happened next left the entire military base speechless. The camera zooms in on a tired man mopping the shiny floors of a massive army base at dawn. Soldiers march past him without a glance. He pauses, wipes his sweat, and whispers something in French to himself. But when the commanding general overhears him speaking flawless Arabic, then fluent Russian, and later Japanese to a group of confused recruits, she suddenly stops. And that moment changes everything. The base was alive with noise, boots striking concrete, engines roaring, orders shouted through radios. And right in the middle of all that power and discipline, worked Ethan Cole, the janitor. He was quiet, never late, and always humble. To most soldiers, he was invisible, just another man pushing a mop. But what they didn't see were the dark circles under his eyes, the tired smile he forced each day, or the child's drawing tucked inside his pocket, a crayon sketch that said, "Daddy's my hero." Ethan was a single father. His wife had died years ago in a tragic accident, and his only family now was his 8-year-old daughter, Lila. He took the janitor job at the military base because it offered medical benefits for her, and he didn't care about the rank, pride, or position, only that she could live better than he did. But Ethan wasn't ordinary. When recruits from different countries arrived, he'd sometimes hear them struggling with English. Quietly, he'd murmur the right word in Spanish. Another day, he'd help a lost engineer in German. Once, when a translator failed to show, he filled in Arabic, Mandarin, even Russian. Nobody noticed, except General Amelia Grant. General Grant was the first female general at the base, fierce, brilliant, and known for her razor-sharp discipline. Her motto was, "You earn respect, you don't ask for it." She had no patience for mistakes, and especially no time for civilians in uniformed areas. One morning, during an international training summit, chaos erupted. The translator failed to arrive, and multiple foreign officers stood confused as briefing documents were delayed. General Grant's jaw tightened. "Can no one handle this?" she barked. Then a calm voice echoed from the back. "General, if I may," Ethan said softly, broom still in his hand. The entire room went silent. A janitor? Interrupting a general? But before anyone could stop him, Ethan stepped forward and began translating her orders into French, then Arabic, then Mandarin, one after another, flawlessly. Even the foreign officers froze, nodding, astonished. General Grant narrowed her eyes, studying him. "Who are you?" she demanded. "Just the janitor, ma'am," he replied humbly, lowering his head. That day, whispers spread across the base. The janitor could speak 9 languages. 9. But when the general called him into her office later that evening, the truth behind his talent shocked her even more. Ethan stood stiffly in front of her desk, his uniform faded, hands calloused. The general looked at his file, then at him. "Why does a man who can speak 9 languages scrub floors for a living?" she asked bluntly. Ethan hesitated. His voice was low, steady. "Because floors don't talk back, ma'am, and they don't judge a man for his past." She frowned. "Your record shows no prior military service, no degrees. Where did you learn all this?" He smiled faintly. "From life, ma'am. From people. From years of moving base to base, job to job, and from trying to keep my daughter safe." Then he placed a photo on her desk, a little girl hooked to medical machines, smiling weakly. "She's the reason I'm here. I take night shifts so I can pay for her therapy. Every language I learned was just a way to survive, to keep us fed." The general's usually cold expression softened for a flicker of a second. She dismissed him politely, but that night, she couldn't sleep. Something about his words haunted her. A week later, during an international operations simulation, communication suddenly failed. The base was on edge. An unexpected transmission came in foreign, encrypted, urgent. No one could decode it. Until Ethan, hearing the message while mopping the hall, recognized the dialect instantly, an old Slavic code. He rushed into the control room, decoded it aloud, and prevented a massive misunderstanding between Allied forces. The general was speechless. The man who mopped her floors had just prevented an international disaster. Later that day, in front of the entire base, General Grant made an announcement. Effective immediately, she said, Mr. Ethan Cole will no longer serve as janitor, but as our linguistic intelligence liaison. A civilian officer and hero. The base erupted in applause. Ethan's eyes welled with tears. For the first time, he stood tall, not as a janitor, but as a man who had earned respect the hard way. General Grant approached him quietly afterward. Your daughter's treatment, she said, will be covered by the base fund. You've served your country more than most soldiers ever will. Ethan's voice broke. Thank you, ma'am. I just wanted to give her a reason to be proud. She smiled. She already has one. Glowing star ending message, emotional closure. Weeks later, little Lila visited the base, running to her father's arms as soldiers saluted him. The mop was gone, replaced by a badge, and a quiet pride in his eyes. The narrator closes with the message. Sometimes heroes don't wear medals, sometimes they carry mops. Because greatness isn't about rank, it's about heart.